Found out my girlfriend was chasing her consultant, so I canceled the lease and cut her off cold. Returned the Range Rover, drained the joint account, locked her card after a Chase fraud alert, and had her locked out of the building. Then ran into her working catering 6 months later. Welcome back to AF Tales. Today's story is about a man who gets told he's replaceable, so he stops paying for the life he's funding and walks away. As you listen, ask yourself where you would have drawn the line. I treat my life like I treat my work. I assess risk, I manage assets, and I look for a return on what I invest. That sounds cold to some people, but it's how I built a net worth that puts me in the top 1% for my age group. I don't show it off. I drive a 4-year-old sedan. I wear plain clothes. I max out retirement accounts and keep my spending simple. Sarah hated that about me. We were together for 3 years. In the beginning, she was grounded. She worked as a marketing coordinator, made decent money, and we split expenses about 60-40 based on income. It felt fair, and it felt like teamwork. Then about a year ago, she decided she wanted to pivot. She wanted to be a lifestyle creator. She quit her job to focus on her brand. I supported it. I loved her, and I could afford to carry us for a while. I told myself it was temporary, that she'd build something real and we'd adjust once it had legs. But temporary turned into a full year. I took over the rent for our downtown apartment, which she insisted we needed for the aesthetic. I took over the lease on her luxury SUV because she couldn't keep up with the payments. I paid for dinners, trips, clothes, makeup, hair extensions, and all the little purchases that were for content. For the last 12 months, I was the sole provider. Her contribution to household income was zero. Honestly, it was negative if you counted the credit card debt she racked up on the supplementary card I gave her for emergencies. This is the part a lot of people miss. An emergency card becomes a lifestyle card the moment the person using it stops seeing it as a favor. Then came Jared. Jared was a consultant Sarah met at a networking event. He was everything I wasn't. He drove a leased Lamborghini, wore suits that cost more than my first car, and talked nonstop about high-level mindset. He was flashy, loud, and always performing. Suddenly, I was boring. One night at dinner, Sarah barely looked up from her phone and said, "Jared thinks you play it too safe." I kept my voice calm and said, "I don't care what Jared thinks." She continued like she was reading a script. "He says you have a scarcity mindset. That's why you won't buy me that Cartier bracelet. You're afraid of spending." I set my fork down and said, "I'm not afraid of spending, Sarah. I'm afraid of wasting. There's a difference." She rolled her eyes. "Of course you don't care. You don't care about networking. You just want to sit in your little office and hoard money." The disrespect started as a drip and became a flood. Late nights, brainstorming with Jared. Weekend trips for content creation where I wasn't invited because I would ruin the vibe. She stopped treating me like a partner and started treating me like a background character. At some point, it stopped being subtle. She was testing a new option while keeping the safety net in place, and the safety net was me. The breaking point happened on a Tuesday. I came home after a 10-hour day at the firm. The apartment was a mess. PR packages everywhere, clothes on the floor, open boxes stacked like a warehouse. Sarah was on the balcony on the phone, laughing in that breathless, flirty way she used to save for me. She walked inside, saw me, and her face fell. The smile vanished instantly. "You're home early," she said, and she didn't sound happy about it. "It's 7 p.m., Sarah," I said. "I'm actually late." She crossed her arms. "We need to talk." Jared invited us to a gala this weekend in Miami. VIP tables. It's huge for my brand. I need you to book the flights and the hotel, the Mandarin Oriental. I put my keys on the counter and looked at her. "I'm not flying to Miami to watch you flirt with a guy who disrespects me, and I'm not paying $5,000 for the privilege." The air in the room changed. It went from tense to hostile. "You are so controlling," she spat. "It's always about money with you. You use it to control me because you know you have nothing else to offer." I looked at her and really took it in. The designer dress I paid for, the hair extensions I paid for. The phone in her hand that was on my family plan. The apartment she lived in because I signed the lease. I said, I offer stability, Sarah. I offer a home. I offer a life where you don't have to work. She laughed, and it was cruel. Stability is code for boring. You think because you pay the bills you own me. Then she stepped closer, pointed a finger in my face, and said the line that changed everything. You are nothing special. There are a million guys with jobs. Jared has vision. Jared has passion. You're just a checkbook. You're replaceable, don't forget that, she kept going. I could have 10 guys in this apartment by tonight who would treat me like a queen just to be seen with me. That was the truth. Not hidden, not dressed up. She didn't see a partner. She saw a utility, something to plug in until she found a better model. This is where most people try to argue their way back into respect. But you cannot negotiate with someone who is proud of their contempt. In the past, I would have argued. I would have asked why she was being hurtful. I would have tried to explain what I'd done for her and how unfair this was. But something in me shut off, quietly, like a contract being terminated. I said, okay. She blinked, confused by the lack of drama. Okay, what? Okay, I repeated. If I'm replaceable, then so is what I provide. That's how the market works. Supply and demand. She scoffed like I was being theatrical, then turned back toward the balcony. God, you're so dramatic. I'm going to Jared's to prep for the trip. Don't wait up. She grabbed her purse, the Louis Vuitton I bought her for Christmas, and stormed out. She slammed the door hard enough that the pictures on the wall rattled. She expected me to chase her. She expected the apology. She expected me to book Miami as proof I wasn't cheap. She thought she had leverage because she thought I was afraid of losing her. She was wrong. I wasn't afraid of losing her. I was done paying for her. I didn't sleep that night. I worked. I opened my laptop, pulled up our accounts, and made a checklist. It was time to divest. Wednesday morning, I called my boss and took 2 personal days. Then I went straight to the leasing office in our building. The property manager, Linda, knew me well. I was the one who always paid on time. Hey Mark, everything okay? She asked. I need to terminate my lease, I said. Linda didn't flinch. She did warn me. There's a penalty. 2 months rent plus the break fee. It was almost $8,000. Sarah knew I was frugal. She never would have imagined I'd burn $8,000 just to make a point. But this wasn't about making a point. This was about ending the arrangement. I said, I'll write the check right now. I want the lease terminated effective immediately. I'm vacating today. Linda started typing. Since Sarah is listed as an occupant but you're the sole leaseholder, once you terminate, the legal right to occupancy ends. We'll issue a notice to vacate for any remaining property, 48 hours before we change the locks. Perfect, I said, do it. A lot of people confuse boundaries with revenge. This wasn't revenge. This was me removing access. I went back upstairs. Sarah wasn't there. She'd stayed at Jared's, just like she said. I didn't touch her stuff. I didn't break anything. I didn't send angry texts. I packed my life. Clothes, electronics, documents, personal items. In 3 hours, I erased myself from that apartment. When I was done, it looked strange. Full of her clutter but without any trace of me. Then I went down to the parking garage. Her white Range Rover was parked in our spot. The lease was in my name. The insurance was in my name. She was an authorized driver, but I was the owner of record. I had the spare key. I unlocked it. The inside smelled like her perfume and someone else's cologne. That hit me for half a second like nausea, and then I pushed it down. Business, I told myself. Asset recovery. I drove straight to the dealership where I leased it. I want to do an early turn-in, I told the sales manager. He looked confused. Sir, you have 18 months left. You're going to take a hit. I said, I don't care. I want it off my name today. I paid the difference, signed the papers, and watched them drive it into the back lot. After that, I sat in the lobby of a downtown Marriott. I opened my banking app. The supplementary card ending in 4098. Locked. The joint checking account funded 100% by me. Transfer funds. I moved every cent back into my personal savings. I left the joint account open with a balance of 0. Then I did the last piece. I blocked Sarah everywhere. Phone, Instagram, TikTok, everything. I deleted our photos. Not archived, deleted. I checked into the hotel, ordered a sandwich, and sat by the window looking out at the city. In 6 hours, I became a ghost. She had no lease, no car, no access to my accounts, and no way to contact me directly. She thought I was replaceable. Fine. I removed myself from the equation. She didn't notice on Wednesday. She didn't notice on Thursday. I assumed she was still with Jared, enjoying the feeling of winning. Friday night, I was at the hotel bar having a drink with an old friend from college. For the first time in a year, I felt calm. Then my bank app sent a notification. Fraud alert. Transaction declined. $485 at SDK Steakhouse. Reason, card locked by user. 2 minutes later, declined again. 5 minutes later, declined. Then a $12 Uber attempt declined too. I took a slow sip of my whiskey. That dinner sounded expensive, plus tip. A moment later, my friend's phone rang. He looked at the screen, then at me. "Dude," he said, "it's Sarah. Why is she calling me?" I nodded, put it on speaker. He answered, "Hello, Dave." Sarah's voice came through, high-pitched and frantic. Restaurant noise in the background, clinking silverware, chatter, the hum of a busy place. "Oh my God, thank God, is Mark with you? I can't get a hold of him." His phone goes straight to voicemail. Dave glanced at me. I didn't speak. "I haven't seen him," Dave said smoothly. "What's wrong?" "There's something wrong with the bank," she said. "I'm at SDK with the girls and my card is declining, both of them. It's embarrassing. The waiter is standing right here looking at me like I'm broke. Tell Mark to call the bank immediately." He probably forgot to pay the bill or something stupid. Dave kept his voice even. "Sarah, Mark is pretty good with money. I doubt he forgot." "Well, something is wrong," she said, "and now my Uber app isn't working either. I tried to order a ride and it says payment invalid. I'm stranded. I need him to fix this now." I leaned forward and quietly told Dave, "Hang up." Dave said, "Sarah, I've got to go," and ended the call. This is what entitlement looks like when the power gets cut. It isn't sadness first. It's anger that the machine stopped working. Around 10 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. "Mark, pick up the phone." "It's Jessica." Sarah is freaking out. Jessica was Sarah's best friend, the enabler. I ignored it. Then another message from the same number, clearly Sarah using Jessica's phone. "Mark, where are you? My key isn't working. I'm at the apartment and the fob won't let me in. The concierge says I'm not on the list anymore." "What is going on? Pick up." Then another. "All my stuff is in there. Stop playing games. The doorman is threatening to call the police if I don't stop banging on the glass." I decided to respond once, not to argue, just to state facts. "Jessica, tell Sarah I terminated the lease on Wednesday. The apartment is vacated. Management has been instructed. She has 24 hours to coordinate with them to retrieve her property before it's considered abandoned. Also tell her the Range Rover has been returned. She'll need to arrange her own transportation." I hit send. The number called immediately. I didn't answer. It called again and again. I let it ring. I could picture her outside in heels, pressed up against glass, realizing she had no home, no car, and no money. The same woman who called me controlling was now finding out what dependence actually feels like. Saturday morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls and voicemails from random numbers. I deleted them without listening. I had coffee, went to the gym, and felt lighter than I had in a long time. Around noon, my mother called. I answered. "Mark," she sounded worried. "Sarah called the house phone. She was crying. She said you threw her out on the street and stole her car. She said you're having a mental breakdown. Are you okay?" I stepped off the treadmill and said, "I'm fine, Mom. I didn't steal her car. It was my lease. I returned it, and I didn't throw her out. I moved out." There was a pause. Then she said she asked if she could stay with us for a few days. I laughed once, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "Mom, if you let her in, check your jewelry box before she leaves." My mother's voice went firm. I told her no. "I never liked how she talked to you. I just wanted to make sure you were safe." I said, "I've never been better." Sunday was supposed to be the Miami trip, the one Sarah demanded I fund. I'll admit I got curious. I unblocked her Instagram for 5 minutes. Her story wasn't a hotel view or a gala. It was a black screen with white text about real friends and toxic energy vampires, and how she was taking a break from socials for healing. No Miami. Later, through a mutual acquaintance, I heard what actually happened. When Sarah realized she was homeless and carless, she went to Jared's. Jessica paid for the Uber. Sarah showed up with suitcases, expecting the next chapter of her upgrade. But Jared didn't live in a penthouse. He lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 roommates. He didn't own the Lamborghini. He rented it on Turo on weekends to impress people. And when Sarah showed up with no money and nowhere to go, demanding to move in, Jared panicked. He didn't want a dependent. He wanted a fun, low-stakes fling with a girl who had money. My money, he laughed at her. Then he told her he couldn't have her crashing there. He said his roommates would kill him. He said he thought she was independent, and that was the whole vibe. When she told him the Miami trip wasn't happening because I cut her off, he canceled it and suddenly had business to attend to. That weekend, Sarah couch surfed at Jessica's studio apartment and slept on a futon. Monday morning, reality hit. Bills, phone, insurance, credit card minimums. No income. That evening, I was leaving my office building when I heard my name. Mark, I stopped. Sarah was standing near a planter box. She looked rough. No hair done, sweatpants and a hoodie. I recognized the hoodie as mine. She looked smaller, deflated. The influencer posture was gone. I can't believe you did this to me, she said. Her voice was shaky, trying to sound angry, but it landed as desperate. You ruined everything. I kept distance and said, I didn't do anything to you, Sarah. I just stopped doing things for you. I'm homeless, Mark, she said. I'm sleeping on Jessica's floor. Jared turned out to be a fraud. He's a loser. I said, wow, that's crazy. I guess he wasn't an upgrade after all. She stepped closer, tears rising fast. I didn't mean what I said. I was just mad. You know how I get when I'm stressed. We can fix this. I miss you. I miss us. I shook my head. You don't miss us. You miss the apartment. You miss the Range Rover. You miss the platinum card. That's not true, she sobbed. I love you. If you loved me, I said, you wouldn't have told me I was replaceable. I checked my watch. I have to go. I have a dinner reservation. With who? She snapped, and for a second the old jealousy flashed through. That's none of your business, I said, but good luck with the brand. I'm sure this is great content for your healing journey. I started to walk past her. She grabbed my arm. Mark, please, I have nowhere to go. My parents won't take me back. Please just let me stay at the hotel with you for a few nights, just until I get on my feet. I looked at her hand on my sleeve, then looked at her face. I searched for remorse. Not panic, not tears, not regret that the money was gone. Real understanding of what she did. I didn't see it. I saw someone looking for a new host. So I gently removed her hand and said, you said you could have 10 guys in the apartment by tonight. Why don't you call one of them? Then I walked to the curb where my ride was waiting. I didn't look back. The next 6 months were a blur of productivity. I got a promotion at work. Turns out when you aren't carrying someone else's lifestyle on your back, you perform better. I bought a small condo just for me. Minimalist, clean, quiet. I met someone new too. Alina. She's a pediatric nurse. On our first date, she insisted on splitting the bill. I didn't argue, I just felt relief. This is what healthy looks like. No tests, no threats, no scoreboard. One evening, Alina and I went to a charity event downtown. Black tie, big venue, good food. I was at the bar grabbing a drink when I saw a server moving through the crowd with a tray of champagne flutes. She was keeping her head down, trying to be invisible. It was Sarah. She looked tired, like the last 6 months had aged her years. The influencer dream had evaporated when the funding dried up. Now she was working catering to pay rent wherever she was staying. She looked up, saw me, and froze. She saw the tux. She saw the calm on my face. Then she saw Alina walk up, slip her arm through mine, and laugh at something I said. Sarah's eyes dropped to Alina's wrist. Alina wore a simple, elegant bracelet. Not Cartier, just something thoughtful I'd picked out. Sarah's face went red. She looked down at her tray and hurried away into the kitchen. I watched her go and felt nothing. No anger, no triumph, just distance. Alina noticed my gaze. Who was that, she asked. I said, nobody. Just someone I used to invest in. Bad return. Then I turned back to Alina, the woman who actually valued me. Here are the lessons I took from all of this. Lesson 1. If someone treats you like a resource instead of a person, they will resent you the moment you set limits. Lesson 2. When a partner starts comparing you to someone else to pressure you, it's not motivation. It's manipulation. Lesson 3. Paying for everything doesn't buy love, and it doesn't buy respect. It only buys time until the next demand. Lesson 4. A clean exit is often calmer than a long argument. Sometimes the strongest response is simply removing access. Lesson 5. People who say you're replaceable should not be shocked when you stop acting like their safety net. What would you have done if your partner told you you were replaceable while living off your support? Would you have cut it off immediately, or tried one more time to fix it?